So, very recently, I had this really awesome experience of flying home to Ontario to celebrate the wedding mass of my baby sister. And it was this really cool big brother moment to be there. There was a lot of joy in the couple and the whole family. It was just such a joyful celebration. And it actually worked out perfectly because the wedding took place right after our community retreat. So Father Dan and myself actually flew to Ontario together. Now, one thing you should know about my style of packing and getting ready for flights is basically I will avoid paying for extra luggage at any cost, okay? So Father Dan and I had got this like super cheap flight where you had to pay for checked luggage, and I was like, this is a self-challenge. I'm not gonna do it. Even though I have this whole retreat to pack for and my sister's wedding, I'm gonna fit it all into a tiny little backpack. So what I did is I stuffed everything I could into the backpack, but all the leftover clothes that I couldn't fit in there, I became the checked luggage because I just wore it. So I was wearing like my gym shorts, and then I had summer shorts over top of that. Sometimes I'll even put jeans over that. And then because sweatpants are extra stretchy, you can kind of pull that all over everything. I got a couple layers of t-shirts on. I got my clergy shirt, got a sweatshirt. And as the layers are building, right, I'm becoming more and more like the Michelin Man, like just kind of all these layers. And we make it to the airport, and Father Dan is there, and he's paid for checked luggage because he's, normal. And he's just cool as a cucumber. And I'm sitting across from him sweating because I'm wearing all these layers. And just to complete the whole picture, I'm wearing a sweatshirt, I'm wearing sweatpants, but dress shoes are kind of bulky, so they can't really fit into the backpack either. So I'm wearing my dress shoes as well. And it's a good thing that the airport is a judgment-free zone, because I should have been judged. But one of the worst things about packing, I don't know if you've experienced this, is feeling like you're missing something. You get to the airport and you're like, okay, I've checked my list. I swear I packed everything, and yet there's this nagging thought in the back of your mind, I'm missing something. And the worst part is the vagueness, right? I don't even know what it is that I'm missing, but I'm missing something. Have you ever experienced that yourself? Maybe not even with packing, but you're making a recipe, and you taste it and you're like, okay, this is good, but it's missing something. It's missing some ingredient. Or maybe you go to watch a movie, and you're enjoying the movie, it's good, but you're thinking to yourself, there's just something missing from the plot that would just make it 100%, that would make it whole. But I can't put my finger on it. Well, let me take it a little bit deeper. Have you ever looked at your life and thought, there's something missing in my life? Something fundamental, something important, something I don't even know what it is, but I'm missing something in my life. There's a lot of good in my life. I should be happy, but I don't feel whole. Maybe you've been struggling with your health recently, some physical weakness or disability that's been holding you back and is just a constant reminder that you're unwell. So maybe some mental health issue that you just can't seem to shake, and you're wondering, is this just my future? Is this just my lot in life to always be a little bit unwell? Maybe you've been wrestling with a guilty conscience. You did something in your past that you are ashamed of, that you live with the regret from, and you're thinking to yourself, it's just so bad I could never be forgiven for something like this. And your soul feels dirty, feels unclean because of it. Maybe the life that you're currently living right now, is not a good one. That you're doing things that you know are wrong, that hurt others, hurt yourself, hurt your relationship with God, and you're wondering, am I just going to be stuck in this forever? Or maybe you're thinking to yourself, I'm not a terrible person. No, I'm a decent human being, but I'm certainly not living at my best. I'm not living the best version of myself. Or maybe you're just feeling really lonely. You're craving someone to love you for who you are. Maybe you've had a hard time making friends, or you feel isolated, or that no one understands you. And even though you were made to be loved and to love others, that's not been your experience. And you're wondering to yourself, does anyone actually love me? Could anyone actually love me? Well, to sum it all up, is it possible that you feel unwell, unclean, or unloved? And that there's something that you're missing in your life that would bring wholeness to this lack that you're feeling? Well, I want you to know that there is an answer to this question. That there is an answer, that there is indeed something that is missing from your life that can bring you the wholeness that you are craving, and it is the Lord himself. Our psalm today was saying how it is the Lord who forgives you your iniquity, who heals all your diseases, and who crowns you with steadfast love. It is the Lord who heals all your diseases. We have a God who loves us so much that he hates to see us in pain, and he actually has the power to do something about it. That's why when Jesus was here on earth, God himself, he was constantly healing people, constantly relieving them of their pain, healing them of their mental and their physical illnesses. And my question to you is, why would he ever stop? Why would he ever stop? It's the same Jesus. He's still alive. He's still real. He still wants to heal you today. We worship a God who wants to forgive us of our iniquity. So much so that he came to earth, became a man, and carried the cross for us. And when he carried that cross, what he was doing is he was carrying the burden of our sin so that we don't have to carry it anymore. God doesn't want you to live in regret and shame and guilt. He wants you to live in peace. He wants you to be truly forgiven. And when God forgives you, you need to know this, it's done. Like, it's done. Your sins are obliterated. He forgives you completely. He forgets about your sin, and you can live in peace. As the psalm says, as far as the east is from the west, so far does he remove our transgressions from us. The mercy of God is unlimited. There is no sin too great that he cannot forgive. And we worship a God who loves us with a steadfast love. Do you know that the heart of God burns with love for you? The heart of God burns with love for you. He didn't need to create any of us, and yet he did, because he wanted us to share in his love. And he has the kind of love that isn't based on our talents, our gifts, our ambitions. It's just a sheer delight in the fact that you are his creation, that he made you, he designed you, he knows everything about you, and he loves you. And his love is a steadfast love, which means it doesn't change. It doesn't flicker. He never forgets you, never abandons you. His eye, every single moment of every single day, is on you, loving you. Well, if this is our God, if our God is a healer, if he's a forgiver, if he's a lover, then how is it that we still sometimes feel so trapped in feeling unwell, unclean, and unloved? Well, because yes, God can do all these things, but God will not force himself into your life. God will not force himself into your life. And so, if we shut God out of our lives, we shut out all of the benefits that he wants to bring us. And it's so easy for us to do this, and we do it in so many different ways. All of us have our own pet way of keeping God at a distance, and as a result, losing the benefits that he wants to bring us. Maybe you chase after the love and the affection of others. You scroll through social media to collect likes and follows to make yourself feel seen, to make yourself feel important. Maybe you enter into toxic relationships that you know they won't love you perfectly, but at least they make you feel loved for a time. Maybe you use food or drink or entertainment to mask the pain that is just bubbling below the surface. Not because those things will actually bring you healing, but because it at least numbs the pain for a while until it comes back even more. And maybe instead of facing your guilt when your conscience is pricking you, you say to yourself, you know what? I'm actually not that bad. I'm a good person. And you know what? I owe it to myself. I owe myself this pleasure. Even if God says it's not for me, I owe it to myself. And you push your conscience down, trying to soothe yourself. But none of these things work. None of these things last. None of these things bring us the wholeness that we're searching for. Because, as we heard today in the psalm, "O my soul, do not forget his benefits." Sometimes we forget God and we go after all these things the world offers, but our soul is still craving that wholeness. And it's like the psalm is reminding us to remind our soul, forget not the benefits of God. Don't forget what he can do for you. And it is no one else but the Lord who can do this. The psalm says, it is the Lord who is your healer, who forgives you, who loves you. It is the Lord. But maybe you've forgotten that. Maybe you've wandered away from God. Maybe you've never even been able to experience his benefits for the first time. Maybe you've never really known God as your healer, as your forgiver, as your lover. And if any of this is ringing a bell, striking a chord in your heart, I want to invite you to try something called Alpha. Now, you've probably heard of Alpha before, but if you haven't, Alpha is this experience that we offer here at the parish, a chance for you to welcome God into your life, to welcome him to come into your life and bring you his healing, his forgiveness, and his love. It's every Wednesday night starting September 27th, where we gather together here at the church for some food, we discuss faith with one another, and it's open to anyone, no matter what your background is. You are welcome at Alpha. And each night, there is a live talk on a different subject. We talk about experiencing the forgiveness of God. There's a night where we talk about experiencing the love that God has for you. There's even a night where we talk about, does God still heal today? And the answer is yes. I have a friend who came to Alpha who suffered from debilitating knee pain. And he was healed at Alpha. Yes, Jesus still heals today. And I have been through Alpha. It's an amazing experience. It's a beautiful chance to say yes to God. But I don't want you to just take my word for it. I want you to actually listen to a lady named Peiwen, a parishioner here at the parish, as she shares about her experiences at Alpha.
My name is Peiwen Kloshnai. I was born and raised in China, and I moved to Canada just over a decade ago. I lived in Saskatoon for many years and moved to Halifax, Nova Scotia in January last year. I would say my faith life before Alpha was just Sunday Mass. It's just something you do, and you do it every Sunday, and that's pretty much it. So in 2020, I was going through a very difficult time in my personal life. That was a time when I really started to reflect on my life. I started to realize something was missing, something fundamental, something outside of the life that I have. It was almost like I had this thirst in my heart, but I didn't know what it was or where to find the answer. I moved to Halifax in January last year, and shortly after I moved here, my boss invited me to try Alpha. So I did. The first time I walked in here, and I knew my heart has found its home. I remember saying to my Alpha group that I don't have a choice. My boss invited me to come, but the truth is, I am forever grateful for his invitation. The first night at Alpha was certainly nerve-wracking for me. Halifax was very much of an unfamiliar city to me, and I was meeting with a group of strangers to talk about faith. But everyone at Alpha was very welcoming, very friendly. After the first couple of nights, I quickly learned that I was really with a group of people that even though we're from different cultures, different backgrounds, we all share something the same. We all had questions, we all had struggles, and we all had doubts. And we wanted to share and to grow together in faith. So Alpha really created that environment for me. I knew it was safe for me to share, but at the same time, be accepted and supported. Through Alpha, I started to really know Jesus. I've always known him my whole life, but it was with Alpha that I really started to have a relationship with him. I would say after Alpha, the change in me was I want to know Jesus more, and I started to notice the joy in me. I would also say Jesus is absolutely the center of my life, and then that's not going to change. When you have God in your life, the joy is uncontainable, and you want to share that with people. I start to invite friends, other people that I know, to try Alpha. I would say give Alpha a chance for it to bring something new to your life. Give yourself a chance to meet some beautiful and faithful people, and give other people a chance to know you so that they can be there for you and support you when you need it. I can honestly say this from the bottom of my heart. With Alpha, you have nothing to lose but much to gain. So enjoy Alpha.
It's powerful, right? It's powerful when people encounter Jesus. And I loved when Paywin said, I realized that something was missing, something fundamental, a thirst for something that I didn't know what it was or where to find it. But she didn't just let that thirst stay there. She didn't push it down. She went and sought answers. She accepted her boss's invitation to try Alpha, and the result is she now is able to say, Jesus is absolutely the center of my life. When you have God in your life, that joy is uncontainable. So what about you? Would you dare to try Alpha? Would you dare to let God come into your life? As she said, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. To give God the chance to share with you his benefits of healing and forgiveness and love. And maybe you're sitting there thinking, I've already experienced God as my healer. I already know that the Lord has brought these benefits into my life. Great. Then your challenge is to go and invite someone who doesn't know the Lord yet, who doesn't know his benefits. Because without her boss's invitation, Paywin would not have come and encountered the Lord in this way. You can go and invite people to experience the goodness of the Lord. And who knows, maybe someone you invite will be the next person sharing their testimony here about how Jesus has changed their life. We can never force people, of course, into a relationship with God, just like God never forces himself on us. But we can invite. We can point people to the God who desires their healing, their forgiveness, and for them to experience his love. Because ultimately, he's the only one who can bring wholeness to your life. And we must never let our soul forget that.